People still often ask, can you actually sue for credit mistakes that are done on your credit report? Well, this is something I want to let you know. The CFPB sued Experian for sham investigation of credit report errors. Basically, Experian does not properly investigate disputes and fails to remove or they reinsert errors on the reports, threatening consumers' access to credit, employment, and housing. So if CFB was able to sue, and as you can see, this took place earlier this year, depending on when you're watching this video. If the CFPB was able to sue based on Experian conducting what they consider to be sham investigations, then that opens the door for what's possible and what you can actually do and what you may be entitled to or owed based on certain errors, inaccuracies, and things that may be on your report. This article then goes on to say, Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA, requires that consumer reporting agencies take steps to ensure consumer reports are accurate. And when it comes to accuracy, what's very important to note is that accuracy means maximum possible accuracy, means 100% accurate, no errors. So that's important to make note of. But it says are accurate and to conduct investigations of information disputed by consumers. The FCRA provides people multiple ways to dispute inaccurate information on their consumer reports, including by contacting consumer reporting agencies directly. So the FCRA allows them to contact people directly. The FCRA also requires that consumer reporting agencies follow certain procedures before reinserting certain information that was previously removed off of an individual's report. Very important. Now, let's dive in deeper. Let's go directly to Cornell Law, the Legal Information Institute, where the FCRA is housed. And basically, it talks about, in general, any person who willfully fails to comply with any requirement imposed under this subchapter with respect to any consumer is liable to that consumer in an amount equal to the sum of. So they're talking about payouts. But before we get into the payouts, some people may get caught by the fact that this says any person. So they're looking at it like an individual. Well, let's look at the legal definition of person. And when you look up the legal definition of person, it says the term person means any individual, partnership, corporation, trust, estate, cooperative, association, government, or governmental subdivision or agency, or other entities, which these credit bureaus or consumer reporting agencies fall under the category of a person. Because by definition, a person is not what you always may have thought it was. A person can fall under the category of all of these things, which means that a business, a company, is a legal entity that is listed in law as a person. Okay, so any consumer is liable to that consumer in the amount equal to the sum of, well, any actual damages sustained by the consumer as a result of the failure or damages of not less than $100 and not more than $1,000. So up to $1,000. Now, this is per consumer reporting agency. So that could be $1,000 that Experian might be entitled to pay Equifax as well as TransUnion. So this can be multiple $1,000 payouts if you understand what's going on. Then it says in the case of liability of natural person for obtaining a consumer report under false pretenses or knowingly without a permissible purpose, actual damages sustained by the consumer as a result of the failure, or $1,000, whichever is greater. And when it comes to actually filing a lawsuit, a lot of times people think about, okay, how much is this going to actually cost to file this lawsuit? Well, let's see what it has to say about attorney fees, and I can show you how you won't have to come out of pocket a dime in order to file for a lawsuit that may be proof that you have some type of FCRA violation on your report. So here's what it says about attorney fees. Upon a finding by the court that an unsuccessful pleading motion or other paper filed in connection with an action under this section was filed in bad faith or for purposes of harassment, the court shall award the prevailing party attorney's fees reasonable in relation to the work expended in responding to the pleading, motion, or other paper. So attorney fees can be paid for on both sides due to the fact that if something is won or lost. But when it comes to the attorney fees, what I want to position you to do is be able to file a lawsuit without having to come out of pocket by connecting you directly to my legal team. So how do you go about getting connected to the legal team in order to see if you qualify for an FCRA violation? They can pay you $1,000 per entity that's violating your rights, and up to $2,500 when you total it all out. Now, I know you probably caught that. You're probably thinking, hold on, $1,000 per entity. If it's 3 entities, that should equal 3K. Well, remember, you're not coming out of pocket any money. So the lawyers, the legal team, they actually get paid only if they win the case. So when they get paid, you can end up with up to $2,500. So that's where that math comes from, just in case somebody was wondering. Now, what do you do in order to find out if you may qualify for some compensation due to an FCRA violation? The steps to be provided below, but the first thing I want you to do is download your consumer report. Now, you can download your consumer report at the annualcreditreport.com. So I'll just say annualcreditreport.com, and that's free to you, and it is just a report only. However, if you want the numbers and the scores, I have a site that you can use that can basically allow you to pull your report for just $1, and it will include the scores. And if you don't want to keep it, you can cancel at any time. But this is just something that's user friendly. It has some other education and other strategies that you can utilize in order to boost your score and guidance, etc. But if you just want the free version, download those reports. That's number one. Then once you have those reports downloaded, you send it to the email address that's also provided below, but it's basically cbu@gmail.com. Now, don't type in CBU by itself. It's Credit Business University. I'll just abbreviate it. But Credit Business University at gmail.com, and this is how you can get it submitted. I get it put to my legal team. The legal team goes over it. I give you the verdict on whether if it was a yay or a nay, and they only take on what they know they're likely to win. So if they say nay, that doesn't mean that next month or future month you may not qualify. They just don't see something that they know that they're likely to win, because keep in mind, they're not taking any money up front, so they got to make the lawsuits count. But what I found is that about 20 to 30% of people actually qualify. About 20 to 30%. So what does that mean? That means if 20 to 30% of people qualify, then you may qualify, because out of 10 people, 22 to 3 of them may qualify. So make sure that you're not leaving money on the table, because it just may be worth $2,500 just off of filing the lawsuit through the legal team. So submit that. I'll get it over to the legal team, and then they'll let us know yay or nay. If it's a yay, then basically I will give you your next steps, connect you directly so you can go through the process of getting those disputes filed. Now, if you want access to taking your credit to the next level and learning how to make money in this multi-billion-dollar credit industry, that link will be available below. But now you know that yes, you can actually sue for violations on your credit report, or errors or inaccuracies, or things that they did out of negligence when it comes to your credit report or different parts about the dispute process.